A Nissan Patrol GR rolls up in need of a 4x4 specialist, and Sandy's the man. The vehicle is making a mess all over the floor. Sandy takes a quick look and immediately has a theory.
Got seals either side, so obviously what lubricates the bearing. And if them seals go, what happens is the oil starts spraying into the turbo. The turbo is still spinning, so it pulls the oil through. So the actual oil, the car will take off and start revving. And normally what happens is it blow up.
If the turbocharger has failed, it may well have severely damaged the engine. But to be certain, he'll have to investigate deeper. He thinks the oil leak could have contributed to damaging the cylinder head. The only way he can be certain is by stripping over 200 parts and accessing the pistons and cylinders. And Jolly Jock is on hand to offer his unique brand of advice.
Get down and get dirty, that's what I say.
His plastic cups are rapidly filling up with the various bolts that have to be removed. And the snap-happy Jock amuses himself, while the 4x4 engine lies in pieces. Although Sandy still has some way to go before he can access the cylinder head.
You can't get in and out. It's a nightmare, man. It's my nightmare.
Meanwhile, Sandy is getting dirty dismantling the Nissan Patrol. He needs to access the cylinder head to see how much damage has been done by the oil. To create enough space so the engine can be lifted out, the bonnet will have to come off.
All the wires that you see has got to come off. And all the pipes on that side need to come off, and then I can get the actual engine will just be sitting there. I can take the engine out.
The cylinder block, that weighs the same as a middleweight boxer, can now be removed. Although the hoist hasn't quite got the reach to perform the task, and it's the only one in the garage.
So not much is gonna swing it. It's only gonna swing it to there.
Quick-thinking Sandy fixes a bracket to the block. This gives him 5 vital inches so the straps can be attached. It can now be slowly winched away. He can now see exactly why the 4x4 was pumping out fumes.
There's too much compression, too much fuel gone in there, and it's exploded. It's been running that hot on oil, and it's burnt a hole in it.
After the seals in the turbocharger failed, oil swamped the system. The engine was overworked, and now the cylinder head has a crack.
It's been running on its own oil. It's overheated on that bomb, blew that piston.
The Patrol needs a whole new engine. But Jock doesn't want it hanging around, taking up space while they wait for a new one to arrive.
With it taking up the space, the guy's going to have to pay storage on it, because that's taking up a position where we could be making money with other vehicles.
So to save money, the owner decides to store the 4x4 at a friend's lockup and source a used engine for the garage to fit. At the start of the week, this 4x4 arrived at the garage smoking badly. Sandy stripped the engine and found it damaged beyond repair. This morning, the owner is bringing it back with a replacement engine to fit. But if they carry on like this, it'll need more than an engine. It's going to be a 2-person job. Sandy gets Lindsay to help. Someone else who could do with a helping hand this morning is Jock. Last night's date seems to have been more alcoholic than romantic.
Oh, I've got a cold sweat coming on. I just got up and I'm in the house. How did I get in here? I don't remember leaving the pub, but it was one of them days. That's mad, isn't it? But I can feel it trying to come out in me now.
The new engine for the Patrol has been brought in with auxiliary parts already attached. So Lindsay is given the task of prepping it before it's put in place, while Sandy takes a break. He recently split up with his girlfriend.
I've come to the conclusion that I'm just going to start a fresh start. Just get on with my life. If she comes back into my life, well, I'll sort it out when she does come back. If she does come back, like.
And judging by the state of his neck, word might have got round Porto Banús that Sandy is single.
Did you bite him?
Eh?
Did you bite him?
Did I bite him?
Let me see your teeth. I know one fact, it wasn't me. I've got a distinctive pattern. One tooth mark on the side of the neck, because that's all I've got.
A bashful Sandy quickly heads back to work. The replacement engine for the Patrol was a snip at £1,000 second-hand. Brand new, it would have cost nearly £8,000.
What I need to do, I need to pull this engine right back like that and push all it, hold it. Go on. Right, take your time, take your time. Right.
But there's a problem.
2 seconds, come on. I need someone else to get a hand here.
The engine has to sit square on its mounts. There's no margin for error. Foreman Glynn comes over to lend a hand.
Right. You need to go forward. That way. I'll be able to get in now and give it a good shove, and then we'll drop it on the mountains.
Every inch counts. They try everything, using a jack to position it from underneath, taking the vehicle's bull bars off to get the hoist closer, and finally, brute force. With the hoist unable to lower the engine far enough into the bay, Jock's on hand to cast his expert eye.
Let's see how far. Oh, hang on, see how far you can go.
Up to solid. Go on, lad, do it.
That's it. Go on.
Go on, lad, do
Bit
it.
more. Bit more. Keep going. It needs to go in and down. Right. Oh, that's going perfect. Go on. Yeah, that's in.
Right, that's it.
It's taken everyone from the apprentice to the boss to eventually get the block in place. All Sandy has to do now is connect it up and get it running. His once neat workbench is a mess, and more worryingly, not all the parts have found a place back in the engine.
How many of them is there? There's 4. Got plenty of spare bits.
Although he reckons the engine should now be in fully working order.
Long or short? Push that left side down.
Go on.
With the engine running without smoking the garage out, he tops up the oil and gives Lindsay a simple lesson in reattaching wheels.
Hold on. You're the opposites, man. You're on opposite. I'll put your wheel on centre. Does anybody not tell you that, like? No.
Sandy takes the Nissan Patrol out on a test drive and proves he knows how to show a woman a good time by taking Lindsay along with him.
There is a set test drive route that we use.
But rather than take the English mobile mechanic's specified route, Sandy and Lindsay go for an extra mile or 2.